like a, like,
Yeah.
Hey guys, this is The Other Show. I'm Chris, and this is
Sarah, hi.
And we're here to talk about episode 9, which is
Chase
pretty dark.
drops a new
Yeah.
album.
And yeah, Chase drops his first album. It's the Plain Bottle episode.
Yes.
We're here with Drew and Helena and Molly Shannon.
Woo, Molly Shannon!
oh my God.
I know, you get a full name at all times.
You know, if this plane goes down, the headline's gonna read Chase Dreams, comma others, die in plane crash. We are comma others.
Well, first of all,
Yeah.
if we were on a plane, it would say Molly Shannon, others dying plane.
Yes,
right?
yes,
Without question.
Without question. The example that we had in the show that we cut was if Oprah and Beyonce, this is morbid, but we're on the same flight and it crashed,
Jesus.
who would get top billing?
I think Oprah.
I think Oprah too.
But what if it was the day after Formation came out?
Oof.
Well,
tough.
Wait, somebody in the writer's room said that they would put out 2 different editions of the paper that day.
Like
Collector's editions where you get to choose who's your top billing.
yeah. Can Oprah die?
Oh.
That's a good question. So we shot this episode for 4 days, and we had a bunch of kids on the plane, but not all the kids could come for all 4 days. They were only allowed to, I guess, legally work for 2 days or something. So they hired only twins. So
Only
everybody
identical
on the
twins.
plane is an identical
twin.
twin. So in acts 1 and 2, it's one
one
twin.
twin.
And then in act 3, where you start screaming, it's their twin.
Whoa.
And
it was
I
crazy because
remember
we got to there and we were like, hi. Like, we knew them. And
Mm-hmm.
they were like, hi.
one twin is gonna be like, I don't know, it's like a fun party. And the other one's gonna be like, are you sure this woman was just screaming about her husband's dick? Was this the same show? What?
Yeah.
So you know what I think might help? Helen.
I don't want to hold your pig.
Okay, well, can you? Because she's getting very heavy.
As soon as I held Helen, screamed. Could just tell I had bad energy, maybe.
Ken was kind of like the Helen whisperer. That
Yeah.
pig was like putty in his hands, and then the handoff would happen, and the screaming would be it.
But the pig was very happy, very well taken
Yes,
care
yes,
of.
yes,
of course.
And the pig's owner was really nice. I got
Yeah.
become very friendly with her.
Yeah.
We text one another.
We had one experience on SNL where we needed a squirrel, and this handler was like, yes, I have a trained squirrel. I will bring it to you. The squirrel does what I say.
Well,
It will
and
do
also,
whatever you need.
they were like, we have to shoot at night because the squirrel's driving down from the Capitol.
Yes.
So it's 8
Squirrel
hours
was
they're gonna
driven down-
truck.
Driven down. The squirrel was put on its mark. The camera started rolling. The squirrel immediately just ran up into the rafters, and then the squirrel's trainer was like, "It's we just have to like wait for it to come down."
Yeah. She was like, well, I don't know what you do.
Yeah.
What should we do? We were like, I don't know, what should we do? They were sort of like, well, with a squirrel, you know, you can train it, but you also just like, you actually can't. You just actually can't.
It's a wild animal, so it's gonna
It's
do what
interesting
it
because you
wants.
can train it, but on the other hand, you cannot train it.
We're not gonna tell Chase. And starting tomorrow, my name's Roberta, you're Felicia, Carrie's Dante, Chase is Miguel. We move to South America, we start over.
What? I think my favorite scenes to shoot were the scenes that we went into the bathroom was to like watch Molly slowly disintegrate.
Yeah.
But we would do them out of order and stuff, and you're so amazing in it, and
Yeah.
all of us falling apart at different times, but like watching you sort of like have that veneer come off is really awesome.
That was a big chunk to memorize, and we were shooting, in New York, and I stayed at I think it was a Hilton. To memorize my monologue, I went swimming, and there was like a glass window, so there was a prom going on while I was memorizing. So I was swimming, memorizing my lines, waving to people like at a prom. They would recognize me.
I think Molly Shannon is swimming and screaming to herself.
And I swam for so long because there was so much to memorize that when I got out, I had a Charlie horse, and I was like, and then I was like, I hope the prom people don't see me. I had to scoot up to
That's gonna be their
sunshine.
prom story. They're gonna be like, at my prom, I went to a dance and I saw Molly Shannon coming out of a pool, just like falling apart.
Let's all have a laugh. Let's all laugh at my dead husband.
Mom, no one's laughing. It's okay.
He was the only man I ever loved. I did not want him to be a joke.
In the first episode, it says, I miss Dad. And they're like, yeah, I know, I did too. But we didn't decide what that meant. And so it was
Yeah.
like fun to figure out in the room what happened to him.
Yeah.
So,
We also went back through kind of when we were towards the end and added the Year of Yes through line for Pat's character. That was kind of like a later in the game because we really liked this idea that we've seen her existing through this whole season, kind of like repressing and making this new narrative for herself as like a gung-ho woman going for it. And then when in this episode where she finally lets that go to the side, it's very like satisfying to see that woman give it up.
Yeah. I love the part where she's like, where she just says, she explains why she didn't want to tell Chase, and she's just like, I just want him to have a chance. It's like so heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And then I just love how dignified she is with the way she sees him, how hard he did try, and just so respectful. And I guess being an Irish Catholic with a long history of alcoholics in my family, I just felt like it was just beautiful.
Yeah, I like the idea she didn't want him to be a joke. I didn't want like people to decide who he was for him.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
No.
It's also not just, it's not so cut and dry, any of this.
Yeah.
Death and alcoholism and anything is never just, he was a loser, he was a bad guy. It's never that cut and dry, so it was nice to tell multiple sides of that story.
Exactly. Yeah. Multiple sides of the story. I've never performed anything like that in my life. I love it. I loved it. It was like